Good evening, I'm Prasad Michael and you're watching Kini News, the show that brings you today's biggest stories. I know many of you were hoping to smell freedom next week, but since Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin announced that the MCO will be extended for another 2 weeks, it looks like he'll be staying home. But it's not all bad news. Thanks to the MCO, Malaysia is on its recovery phase. Malaysia reported 121 recoveries today, with 88 new cases and 1 new death, bringing the national death toll to 96. This comes a day after Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin announced another extension of the movement control order aimed at reducing the spread of COVID-19. Health Ministry Director General Dr Noor Hisham Abdullah welcomed the government's decision to extend the order, saying it will give the nation a better chance at containing the outbreak, which has already shown positive signs.
Seperti yang diumumkan oleh Yang Amat Berhormat Perdana Menteri malam tadi, Perintah Kawalan Pergerakan akan dilanjutkan ke fasa keempat dari 29 April 2020 sehingga 12 Mei 2020. Sepanjang tempoh pelaksanaan PKP fasa ketiga, kita telah melihat trend jumlah kes COVID-19 yang lebih terkawal tanpa kenaikan yang mendadak.
After a month under the movement control order, Malaysia has been showing positive signs of containing the spread of the coronavirus, especially with the reduction of the infection rate.
We were expecting a peak on the 14th of April. So much so, the prediction was 6,300, but we did not see a peak. So which means perhaps we have actually the MCO 1 and 2 have actually flattened the peak. And we realize now we are on a recovery phase, not at the peak phase. So we hope that we can continue our momentum and make sure that we can control the cases and reduce the cases from time to time. So nonetheless, it's not impossible to have an exponential surge if we let our guards down.
If you're a student stuck on campus, you will finally be allowed to go home, but the whole process will be strictly regulated. Here's what you'll need to know.
Higher education students who have been stuck on campus or off-campus accommodation will be allowed to return to their hometowns starting April 27. Senior Minister Ismail Sabri Yaakob said the matter was decided at the ministers' meeting on MCO implementation this morning. However, Ismail said the movement will be strictly regulated.
Waktu perjalanan dihadkan dari jam 9 malam hingga 9 pagi bagi mengelakkan kesesakan dan pergerakan yang besar di waktu siang. Pergerakan hanya melibatkan pergerakan adalah secara berperingkat-peringkat dan ianya melibatkan perjalanan ke zon hijau sahaja.
One possible alternative he gave as an example is that a student who wishes to return to an area under enhanced movement control order can instead return to the home of another relative. For now, students can return in one of 2 ways. The first is to be shuttled by the government from their campus via bus to a police station or district office, from which government agencies will deliver the students directly to their homes.
Bagi pelajar-pelajar yang memiliki kenderaan sendiri, mereka dibenarkan memandu pulang dengan syarat perjalanan mereka tidak merentas negeri dan mereka hanya boleh memandu seorang sahaja untuk satu kenderaan.
Ismail said some 53,000 or 85% of students under the Higher Education Ministry's purview will be involved in the exodus, while the remaining have chosen to remain on campus. The government will continue to provide for those who remain on campus.
People in designated lockdown areas have been complaining that they've been receiving less than what the government had allocated for food aid. However, our minister has an explanation for the confusion.
Senior Minister Ismail Sabri Yaakob has refuted allegations that the government is providing food aid not worth the budgeted RM100 per pack. Instead, he said this is aid from NGOs that are sent to the Social Welfare Department for distribution.
Kita tidak menetapkan kepada NGO untuk memberikan sumbangan dari segi jumlah kosnya. Mereka boleh beri RM30 pun boleh, RM50 pun boleh, RM70 pun boleh, RM100 pun boleh, RM200 pun boleh, terserah kepada NGO yang berkaitan.
Previously, Rasa MP Char Kichin had claimed that 150 food packs his team received for distribution from the government were only worth RM35 each. According to Cha, there were only 7 items in the orange packet, which are 5 kilograms of rice, 1 kilogram of cooking oil, 1 packet of rice vermicelli, a packet of biscuits, tea and instant coffee. The Perikatan National Government had promised to deliver 1,000 food packs for the B40 lower income group to each parliament constituency to help them see through the movement control order period. However, opposition MPs have accused the government of politicking the aid by either hampering delivery in opposition areas or putting PN grassroots leaders in charge of distribution.
When Parliament convenes for one day next month, where will Dr Mahathir sit? Since he's still in Bersatu, will he sit with government MPs or the opposition? And it appears I'm not the only one with this question.
History will be made on May 18 as Parliament is set to convene for only a day with one party being represented on both sides of the floor. Bersatu, which is leading Perikatan National Coalition, will have members led by its President Muhyiddin Yassin on the government bench, while a smaller group led by its chairperson Dr Mahathir Mohamad will sit with the opposition. This will likely be an unprecedented scenario, and many Bersatu leaders are unwilling to go on record when contacted by Malaysia Kini. Some claim that there was a gag order. On April 20, Mahathir made it clear that he will not join the government bench and that Bersatu was essentially split in two. Several party leaders were in agreement that any attempt to sanction Mahathir or other party MPs siding with the opposition would be difficult and a drawn-out process. Parliament has yet to update its website with the seating arrangement. Meanwhile, Bersatu strategist Rais Hussein believed that Mahathir had every right as an MP not to sit on the government bench. Rais added that Bersatu also needs to look at the matter carefully so as not to worsen the rift between its two top leaders and break the party further apart. Asked if there were efforts to mend ties between Muhyiddin and Mahathir, Rais said it was a work in progress. Prior to the movement control order, Mahathir and his allies had been conducting roadshows to rally party members against Muhyiddin for pulling off the Sheraton move in late February and installing himself as Prime Minister.
How far will you go for love? Will you risk jail time just to send your lover a birthday cake during the MCO? One couple took the chance and they're paying a heavy price.
A student has been jailed for 7 days and fined 800 ringgit for violating the MCO to give a cake to her boyfriend. According to Bernama, the 22-year-old private university student was ordered by Shah Alam Magistrate Elina Osman to serve the jail term from the date of her arrest on April 18. She was ordered to serve 2 months jail if she failed to pay the fine. The woman's boyfriend, also 22, was sentenced to a fine of 1,000 ringgit or 2 months jail for defying the MCO. The police found the couple seated in a car which was parked less than a kilometre from the woman's home. The boyfriend, a student at a public university, was eating the cake when they were nabbed by the police. Both of them pleaded guilty after the charges were read out. The couple's lawyer, Shalihuddin Salam, pleaded for a lenient sentence as it was his client's first offence. However, Deputy Public Prosecutor Noor Shazwani Marizan pressed for a stiff sentence, arguing that the accused gave an unreasonable excuse for defying the MCO, and that the people must be reminded that they cannot simply defy the MCO, as it could lead to a new clusters of Covid-19.
The MCO applies to all. Some rather influential people are finding out. UMNO President Ahmad Zahid Hamidi's daughter Nurul Hidayah was summoned to Bukit Aman at around 11 a.m. today to give her statement of an alleged violation of the movement control order. According to Malaysia Kini, the D9 Classified Criminal Investigation Unit will record statements by Nurul Hidayah and her husband. When contacted, Nurul Hidayah confirmed her appointment with the police but declined to comment further. She had been criticised on social media for allegedly violating the MCO after she shared a picture taken in Putrajaya after meeting with Deputy Environment and Water Minister Ahmad Masrizal Muhammad on her Instagram account. The picture showed Nurul Hidayah together with her husband and Masrizal. She had also met with Islamic Affairs Minister Zulkifli Muhammad at his office. After receiving backlash from netizens, Nurul Hidayah had challenged her critics to file a police report instead of leaving a comment on social media. Over the last few days, several elected representatives, including Deputy Health Minister Dr Noor Azmi Ghazali, have come under scrutiny after their alleged failures to comply with the MCO guidelines. Noor Azmi has apologized for his mistake. Coming up next, Covid-19 has claimed 50,000 lives in the US. All that and more after this. The coronavirus has hit the US hard, with the world superpower seeing its death toll reach 50,000. US coronavirus deaths topped 49,000 on Thursday, as the number of lives lost in April rises to an average of 2,000 a day, according to a Reuters tally. The total number of US cases surpassed 870,000 on Friday. Across the country, state officials say there remain bottlenecks in testing capacity, storages of materials such as swabs used for taking samples, and not enough workers to contact trace infections. Despite this, 16 US states are planning to restart their economies and ease regulations designed to slow the spread of the pandemic. Georgia and South Carolina are allowing some businesses to reopen this week, a move that health authorities say could lead to more deaths because they do not have enough tests to assess how many people are infected. They said premature easing of stay-at-home orders and business closures imposed over the past 5 weeks could trigger a renewed surge in coronavirus cases. On Thursday, California's Governor Gavin Newsom said the state recorded 115 deaths from COVID-19 over the past 24 hours, the state's deadliest day of the coronavirus pandemic. He held firm on stay-at-home orders and business closures and warned Californians not to let their guard down.
That means people are prone to want to go to the beaches, parks, playgrounds, and go on a hike. And I anticipate there'll be a significant increase in volume. But I also think if there is, and people aren't practicing physical distancing, I'll be announcing in a week or so these numbers going back up. I don't think anybody wants to hear that.
In a press conference yesterday, US Vice President Mike Pence urged states to follow new federal guidelines for lifting business restrictions on a gradual basis. The guidelines suggest that states should record 2 weeks of declining COVID-19 cases, and systems are in place for widespread testing and tracing of infected individuals' close personal contacts before opening. Zoom's security credentials have not stopped people from using it, as a record number of people have turned to the app to stay connected.
Zoom video conferencing app's user base grew by another 50% to 300 million in the last 3 weeks, as the company fought to quell a backlash around security and safety that has seen a number of governments and firms ban its applications. Shares of Zoom, which have surged nearly fivefold since the company went public in March last year, rose 12% to a record high of $168.24 on Thursday. Chief Executive Eric Yuan gave the numbers in an update on the platform's 90-day security plan, while outlining the rollout next week of a new version of the app with more encryption features. Zoom was banned by many schools around the world, Elon Musk's venture SpaceX, Standard Chartered Bank, as well as governments in Germany, Taiwan and Singapore. German carmaker Daimler was the latest company on Thursday to say it had banned use of Zoom for all corporate content until further notice. Meanwhile, British lawmakers broke from 700 years of tradition in the Houses of Parliament on Wednesday by introducing Zoom-powered video links. 120 members of Parliament can join through a Zoom call, while another 50 are allowed to be physically present in the chamber. Zoom's growth has continued even as it faced criticism from cybersecurity experts and users alike over bugs in its codes and the lack of end-to-end encryption of its chat sessions. It has appointed former Facebook security chief Alex Stamos and a number of other experts to attack this concern, and security researchers said it has responded robustly to the issues.
And that is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to KiniTV.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube and Facebook for the latest news updates. I'll see you again next week, same time, same place. I'm Prasad Michael. Thank you for watching.